Good morning, students. Once again, a very warm welcome to the English world of Aradhya. Myself, Rasmin sir, imparting knowledge of English to the students of 9 to 12 standard in English medium. Students, we have already started your sixth lesson, My Childhood, written by Abdul Kalam. It is taken from his autobiography, Wings of Fire. And students, so far we have seen where he was born, what were the qualities, virtues of his father and mother, how he inherited all those things, and how he earned his first wages. Understood? Now we will see some more incidents of his childhood stage. Every child is born with some inherited characteristics into a specific socio-economic and emotional environment and trained in certain ways by figures of authority. Understood, students? तो काफ़ी सारे बच्चे जो जन्म लेते हैं उनका एक स्पेसिफिक सोशियो इकोनॉमिक बैकग्राउंड होता है. फॉर एग्जांपल, सम चिल्ड्रन आर born in very high-fi houses, okay, very rich houses, so their background is totally different. Some children are born in some narrow-minded families, okay, broad-minded families, narrow-minded families, okay, they have certain social structure according to their caste. So their growth will be different and they will be trained by the figures in authority, means the parents, teachers or neighbors or relatives. Okay, so that is what talked over here. I inherited honesty and self-discipline from my father. From my mother I inherited faith in goodness and deep kindness, and so did my three brothers and sister. So totally earlier when he said that he was one of the many children, mean they were 5 children. Okay, his 3 brothers and 1 sister. And all those things told what he inherited from his parents. That is also students talked over here. He from inherited faith in goodness and deep kindness from mother and honesty and self-discipline from his father. Okay, so we also inherit many qualities of our father or mother. Then I had 3 close friends in my childhood: Ramnada Shastri, Arvindan and Siv Prakashan. All these boys were from Orthodox Hindu Brahmin families. Now students, this is interesting. He was a Muslim guy and all his friends were from Hindu families, not only from Hindu families but from Hindu Brahmin families, and they were Orthodox. Orthodox means they will strictly remain stuck to the rules or the norms of their particular community. Understood? So that is what interesting over here. Yeah. Then, as children, none of us ever felt any difference amongst ourselves because of our religious differences and upbringing. So Kalam was born and brought up in a Muslim family. His upbringing was different, his mentality was different. The other 3 friends of his, okay, were from Orthodox Brahmin families. So their upbringing was different. But these children did not find any difference among them. Okay. In fact, Ramnata Shastri was the son of Pakshi Lakshmana Shastri, the high priest of the Rameswaram temple. Later he took over the priesthood of the Rameswaram temple from his father. So if it is from ordinary Brahmin family, okay, understandable. He may have friends from the other communities. Sometimes some people of the communities are very rigid. They don't allow their children to mix with the children of the other communities. But here you see Ramnada Shastri was the high priest of Rameswaram temple. So he was answerable to many people. Many people could come, those orthodox type people could come and ask him, Ki your son has a Muslim friend. Why do you allow your son to roam about with Muslim guys? But then also Ramnada Shastri did not mind it. Okay, there were other people who were broad-minded. They never saw any differences amongst Hindu and Muslims. Okay, they did not want to create any rivalry between them. Okay, so here we can say Ramnada Shastri, this Pakshi Shastri was the right type of person. Students, later on Ramnada Shastri also took over the priesthood from his father. Okay. Arvindan went into the business of arranging transport for visiting pilgrims and Shiva Prakashan became a catering contractor for the Southern Railways. So this question is asked: who were his childhood friends and what they became at the matured age? So Ramnada Shastri, he was the son of Pakshi Lakshmana Shastri. He became the high priest of the Rameswaram temple later on. Arvindan went into the business of arranging transports for the pilgrims, and Shiv Prakashan became a contractor, catering contractor for the Southern Railways. Okay, so these were their achievements. At the greater age, they became all this. During the annual Sri Sitaram Kalyanam ceremony, our family used to arrange boats with a special platform for carrying idols of the Lord from the temple to the marriage site, situated in the middle of the pond called Ram Tirtha, which was near our house. Okay, so Sitaram Kalyanam ceremony. For this particular events, the arrangements were made by Muslim family students, and nobody objected, because then we can say that most of the people were broad-minded. They did not mind. Okay, then you see students over here. What happens? Events from the Ramayana and from the life of the Prophet were the bedtime stories my mother and grandmother would tell the children in our family. So again here there is no enmity or no point of rivalry between Muslims and Hindus. Okay, he was a Muslim guy, then also his mother and his grandmother used to tell him the stories of Ramayana while going to sleep. Okay, and some stories from the prophets, Prophet Muhammad. Okay, so students, you see, so we can say that entire family was really broad-minded. Okay, then one day when I was in the 5th standard at the Rameswaram Elementary School, a new teacher came to our class. I used to wear a cap which marked me as a Muslim, and I always sat in the front row next to Ramnada Shastri, who wore the sacred thread. Now this is student interesting. Up till now nobody was seeing any difference because of their community was different, their caste was different. But this new particular teacher, he found something awkward over here. Okay, he could not digest this idea of a Muslim boy sitting with a Hindu boy. Okay, now what he did, we will see. A new teacher came to our class. I used to wear a cap which marked me as a Muslim. Muslim people wearing that cap. And I always sat in the front row next to Ramnada Shastri, who wore the sacred thread. So Hindu Muslim bye bye. Like that they were sitting. Okay. The new teacher could not stomach a Hindu priest's son sitting with a Muslim boy. ये बात वो हजम नहीं कर पाया. Okay, could not tolerate. In accordance with our social ranking, as the new teacher saw it, I was asked to go and sit on the back bench. So he directly asked Kalam to stand up from there and go and sit on the last bench. Understood? Because his friend who was wearing, Ramnada Shastri, who was wearing a sacred thread, he was the son of the high priest of the Rameswaram temple. So he could not tell him. But he told Kalam to go and sit on the last bench. I felt very sad, and so did Ramnada Shastri, because both were friends, both never saw these differences. Okay, he looked utterly downcast. Downcast means very much sad and depressed, as I shifted to my seat in the last row. The image of him weeping when I shifted to the last row left a lasting impression on me. So punishment was given to Kalam. Okay, his seat was changed, but effect could be seen on Ramnada Shastri. And he says that image of him crying when I was going to my next place, new place, is still there in his mind. Okay, it created a lasting impression on his mind. Okay, after school we went home and told our respective parents. उन्होंने उसके पापा को बताया, मैंने अपने parents को बताया about the incident. Lakshmana Shastri summoned the teacher and in our presence told the teacher that he should not spread the poison of social inequality and communal intolerance in the minds of the innocent children. Okay, so from here we can make out that Lakshmana Shastri was a perfect person. He called the teacher, new teacher, and in their presence only, in the student's presence only, he told him, warned him, you should not spread this poison of community differences. Understood? So, new teacher felt ashamed. Then what happened? He bluntly asked the teacher, bluntly yani roughly, okay? Ramnada Shastri, sorry, Pakshi Shastri, Lakshmana Pakshi Shastri, roughly told that new teacher. What was that? He bluntly asked the teacher to either apologize or quit the school and the island. या तो माफी मांगो या तो ये स्कूल और आइलैंड पूरा छोड़ के चले जाओ. If you are going to do like this thing. Understood? Not only did the teacher regret his behavior, but the strong sense of conviction Lakshmana Shastri conveyed ultimately reformed this young teacher. Okay? Reformed means changed the new teacher, changed his attitude. Okay, so Lakshmana Shastri's scolding really affected, and that new teacher also changed his viewpoint about this particular thing. Understood? So, that was the incident normally asked as a question. Students just remember it. On the whole, the small society of Rameswaram was very rigid in terms of segregation of different social groups. However, my science teacher Shiv Subramanya Iyer, though an orthodox Brahmin with a very conservative wife, was something of a rebel. Okay, so normally here it is said that in terms of if we check in terms of segregation of the different social groups, they were Hindus also, there were Muslims also, but again they were in different groups. Okay, some were Brahmin, some were Vaishnava, some were Muslims, like those. Okay, my science teacher Shiv Subramaniam Iyer, though an orthodox Brahmin yani Rudhichust Brahmin, very conservative. Another word we can use is conservative. He was a very conservative Brahmin with a conservative wife. So his wife was also very orthodox. But what happened over here was something of a rebel. Okay, ये कुछ बगावत करने वाले जैसे होते हैं वैसा था. By birth he was an orthodox Brahmin. क्योंकि he was born in an orthodox Brahmin family. तो बोलते हैं कि ये क्या है, ये फैमिली कैसा है, रूढ़िचुस्त ब्राह्मण फैमिली है. तो वो रूढ़िचुस्त ब्राह्मण फैमिली में पैदा हुआ, तो ही ऑल्सो गॉट दैट टैग, दैट लेबल दैट ही इज ऑल्सो एन ऑर्थोडॉक्स ब्राह्मण. बट हिज थिंकिंग वॉज टोटली डिफरेंट. हिज वाइफ वॉज वेरी कंजर्वेटिव. बट हियर दिस शिव सुब्रमण्यम अय्यर, दो people labeled him as an orthodox Brahmin, he was not an orthodox Brahmin. On the contrary, he was very broad-minded person. Understood? He did his best to break the social barriers so that people from varying backgrounds could mingle easily. This was his idea. Okay, let us not keep any social barriers. If you keep social barriers, then communities will remain separately only. Actually, they need to mingle with each other, students. Okay, then only we can form a very good Indian society where all the communities are mingling with each other. No community is creating any problem for anybody. Understood, students? So he was that sort of person. He used to spend hours with me and would say, Kalam, I want you to develop so that you are on par with the highly educated people of the big cities. On par with means excel or become equal to them. Understood? So I want you to develop. मैं चाहता हूँ तेरा विकास हो, इतना सारा ज्ञान तू पाए, तो सिटी के जो हाईली एजुकेटेड पीपल है उनसे भी तू बढ़ के आगे निकल जाए. Understood? That was his idea, and he used to spend hours with Kalam, and Kalam was basically what, a Muslim guy. So from that only he is spending so many hours with a Muslim boy. That was a proof, student, that he was a very broad-minded Brahmin. Understood? Then students, you see, there is one particular incident. That incident and the question answers of this particular lesson, students, we will see in my next video. So till that time, you remember these particular things, what we learnt in this particular class. Okay, in this particular video, whatever we have learnt about his friends, what they became at the greater age, and also how the incident of that new teacher, okay, who was spreading the poison of community, and then he was scolded by Lakshmana Shastri, and finally he was reformed. Understood? So that is asked as a question. Just remember all these details, students, and study well. if possible, write down certain things, because I hope that in these days when you are not having regular school, many of you must have left writing practice. So go for the writing task as well, because in exam then you may not be able to complete your paper in the limited time. So you need to keep writing something or the other. Okay, that is just a piece of advice for you. Okay, with that we just wind up this particular session. When we meet next time, we will see the ending part of the lesson. Till that time, students, stay fit, stay fine. Have a good day. God bless you. Thank you.